No, shift lock.
Well, hello out there in Vermland, Radio Land. Let's just pure talk it up today. I am the only one that's showing up today. People are having technical problems and this, that, and the other thing. So if you'd like to let me know what you would like to, I gotta find the chat. Where is the chat? There's the chat. So, and how's the audio? I don't know because I can't hear myself.
Bro,
so
I'm in an extreme right now.
And I had to shut that off real quick. And we're going to go over some Canadian voting results because, well, that's the only thing interesting I found this week. About some other things. It looks like the liberal and conservative, there's so many parties in Canada. I was hoping Verm would be on for this, and maybe I'm gonna save this for next week when he's here so he can explain this stuff to me. There's just a ton of parties. So, what are we talking about today? I got something. So, there is a bill, House Bill 25. Hold on a second.
No, I don't. What?
Shh. I do not know. Children will pull you to the edge. Okay, so I got a lot of things to talk about here, but one of them that's currently going on here in the state of Colorado is HB 25-1312, which is a transgender protection bill. I'm gonna try to pull it up here. I had everything set up on my computer and then it decided to crash. So it was not a fun crash. And then my brother is having, Truck Sam is having trouble with his network down where he's at, so he can't log in very well. So they're doing this legal protections for transgender individuals, and they're calling it the Kelly Loving Act. Well, a little bit of, I think if I understand Kelly Loving, if I remember right, I think she was killed at Club Q. And I believe she was killed. Yeah. She was killed at the Club Q shooting where she was. So they're coming out with this act to protect transgenders from being dead named, from being, which I had to learn what that was, from being misgendered, from being, they could say, whatever they want to pretend they want to be. And it's okay. We're supposed to just accept it and go with it. And part of this bill also wants to give children the right to transition from being, if they want to be a house cat or whatever they want to pretend to be. And if you, the parent, don't provide that support at home, if you dead name your child at home, then she can report it to her school or somebody else in the social services system, and they will remove that child from your home. So basically, they're trying to pass a law that will give parents no rights. They're basically stripping parents' rights away from children, from them to do their child. And, if you want to transition, fine, go ahead, but do it after you're 25 years old. That way your brain's fully developed. Go to your counseling. Tell everybody that you're a house cat or whatever you want to be. Just don't take the drugs. Don't take all the hormone blockers and all that crap until you've turned 25. Because they've come out with the studies that say your brain hasn't developed enough, that you got to be almost, 25 plus years old before your brain is developed enough, before you can, a lot of that confusion clears up. That's why a lot of these young transitions, they're detransitioning back out. and they're screwed up medically for the rest of their life because they either had their breasts removed, they had, organs removed, they had, all these traumatic surgeries done. Just don't get it. Wait a little while till you're formed as an adult and then start into these transitions and stuff like this, and most times, I'm not saying all the times, because there are people out there that won't accept you. Most times people are accepting. As long as you don't force it on them, they're willing to accept. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in chat. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too open-minded about some stuff, and I'm very close-minded about some stuff. Like, you know what? If the kid thinks they're a cat and they want to poop in a litter box in school, that's just unacceptable. I don't care. If you got a cat that's trying to attend school, cats don't go to school. They go to the pound. Right? If you get a stray dog, the dog catcher comes out and picks it up. If you want to pretend to be a deer and eat grass in the yard with your girlfriend, then go pretend to be a deer. But do it on your time and don't force other people to believe in it. Maybe I just see it too much. I don't get it. And they're doing arguments on this. And 80% of the people, I see this bill passing. 80% of the people who are signed up to testify on this bill are against this bill. It's my young gamer son back there poking his head up above his monitors. Now he's looking at me, trying to talk to me while I'm doing a podcast. Love you, buddy. And then, So the other thing that I found awful interesting about the Club Q shooting thing is the guy that went and shot up Club Q was another transgender transitioning from I don't know what to what. Went in there, shot up the place because he was getting bullied by other people in their transgenders. We're going to see if he's got it fixed. Has he got it fixed? Can you hear me? Are you there? Yep. I hear some background noise. I see lights. Can you hear us, Truck Sam? Maybe if you try it without a camera, that's less data to send and it would just be your voice. Try that. I don't know if you can hear me or not. So that was one of the things that came up. And then another item, because we're gonna jump. It's gonna be like I love guns, I love salad type thing. We're gonna be bouncing all over the place because I'm a one-man shop. And I forgot to bring up all my news articles. And that way I could talk to you about these crazy things that are going on. There was a kangaroo on the interstate in Alabama that shut down the interstate. Her name was Shelly, and I guess she escaped from her owner. I think it would be kind of cool to see some kangaroos in the United States, but I don't know. What do you think? What's the weirdest animal you've seen escape and go running down the highway or through something? Like, I think there was, horses and cows and stuff when I was kids. You'd see a bull running through an intersection sometime and a cop car chasing it, and then some cowboy would come running by in his car with hanging out of the wing with a rope. I don't know. I've never, but I don't think I've ever seen like a kangaroo or a tiger or a lion or, anything like that just going down the interstate. So if you've seen something like that, please let us know, because that's pretty crazy. So Amazon is launching internet satellites to compete against SpaceX satellites. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So they are coming up with their own. I guess they launched April 29th of 2025 is when this article was written out of Cape Canaveral, Florida. It rocketed in orbit on Monday. It dominated. So before long, we will have SpaceX, Starlink stuff, and then whatever Amazon is going to call their internet service, which will be kind of crazy. We'll have to see what's going on there. So, Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin. Oh, I thought these guys came back. So Amazon aims to put 3,200 satellites in orbit. Holy crap. Have you guys ever seen the space debris chart that's out there? Like all the satellites and stuff that are surrounding the world, and all the debris and screws and lost tools and, dead satellites and broken off pieces just floating around going 18,000 miles an hour. I wonder if there's a way I could show that. Wonder if there's a way. There is a space debris chart. So I'm trying to figure out how I can show this to you. Can I? Nope, that just killed my feed there. I got to figure this out. Video storage, share screen. There we go. This is the picture of all the space debris that is out there. How crazy is that? And then you're going to put 3,200 more satellites into that mess? Like, I don't even know how you track it. I mean, there are guys getting paid big bucks sitting in some office tracking that screwdriver. Before or after they start hauling all our trash up there, I don't know. Yeah, we need a Wally up there in space floating around getting rid of space debris. I don't know how his little dustpan would be effective against paint chips and screws going 1,800 kilometers an hour. So, yeah, it's crazy. And then you figure when they have to launch something into space, they got to calculate how to get through all that mess depending on where they're going. So, yep. Do not know. Now I got to figure out how to close this off. Oh, there we go. I found the remove button. Got it. Okay, because there's a share your screen button. I finally found it. Sweet. So now I can share stuff. I can share stuff and we can watch stuff together. Like Bitcoin investors buy entire SpaceX flight for the ultimate polar adventure. Want to check that one out? I'm curious. Chinese astronauts, I don't know if they made it back yet or not. I think we got a weather delay. They, I guess, were not invited to be in the International Space Station, so they built their own space station and are doing their own thing up there. So there is a Chinese-born entrepreneur hurtled from orbit in NASA Kennedy Space Center on a Falcon rocket, steered southward over the Atlantic, putting space tourist path never flown before in 64 years of human spaceflight. Wong won't say how much he paid Elon Musk, SpaceX, for the 3.5 day ultimate polar adventure. But the first leg of their flight was from Florida to the South Pole. It took nearly a half hour from the targeted, however miles. And then an hour and a half, including a 46-minute to fly from pole to pole. This is enjoy the views of the pole. Send them some pictures. SpaceX launch control rolled the capsule. That is crazy. So he paid a boatload of money to fly over the poles. That would be kind of cool, though. That would be kind of be a different picture. They did dozens of experiments, including taking the first human X-rays in space. And man, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of this new space stuff that's going on, it's all going to be done by civilians, man. It's not going to be in NASA. I think NASA may eventually get to Mars, but I think a private corporation is probably going to beat them there. And, possession is 9/10 of the law. What happens when that corporation gets to another planet and they go, you know what? Yeah, we understand that you all come from this government, but you're now on Mars, baby. We own it. It's ours. Is it going to be like corporate wars in space? Is it going to be, are they going to hold up to the international, space treaty that everybody signed decades ago? Where nobody owns nothing up there. I just don't see that happening. Do not see that happening at all. They did return, the 4 space tourists returned to Earth. They had a water splash down, which is kind of cool. And so you can, crazy. They went to space and spent 3.5 days. Still don't say how much Bitcoin it cost them, though. So wonder if they converted it to Shiba Inu, Shiba coin, Dogecoin, or did he convert it to cash, take the cash out? Because Bitcoin's been doing the whole, I don't know. It's weird. What? What is this? Oh my. Got to share the screen, baby. Got to share the screen. Look at this craziness right here. View the photos of the Toyota Tacoma Tacozilla. I remember a truck like this. It was a camper back in the day. No snorkel, no lights, no nothing like that. But it was a camper that was built into a Toyota. And it was pretty bad, eh? But this is sick. This is awesome. Look at this camper. I got so distracted on this. This is unreal. But how would you like to have a camper like that? You know what this thing's missing? It needs solar panels on the roof. How are you going to charge your batteries? Got to charge your batteries. It's got a Warren winch, cable winch. Come on, people. Cables are dead, bro. You got to get yourself a nice line winch, a nice those cables. I don't know. They're doing rigid industry. That's a good product right there. I've got a lot of that on my truck. It's a TRD, the chassis. Dual batteries. Nice. What I'm sad to see on a lot of batteries, though, is why are we not using these 66160 lithium titanium oxide cells? They last literally forever. I mean, because this lead acid battery, this is probably a lead acid or a gel. It's probably got, 1,000 cycles, and it's going to die. And then you're going to spend $400 to $800 a battery, and there's 2 of them there. Where you could build a lithium titanium oxide cell to take up that space, it would literally run 25,000, 30,000 cycles. And in, a lead acid battery does about 1,000 cycles before it dies or gets so weak it's just worthless. But that's about 4 to 5 years, right? If you got an LTO cell in there, man, and they cost about the same or less than building a lead, when you annuitize it out over. Because I built one for my truck, an LTO cell, and it cost me around $550 to build the cell. And thing is great. It's phenomenal. Got more power for my winch. It sits at about 13.6, 13.9 the whole time. The alternator works fine with it. I've had no issues whatsoever. I didn't have to change the alternator. I didn't have to put a BMS on it. I do have a balancer on there. I put a cell balancer on there, and every once in a while I go out there and flip the cell balancer on to make sure all the cells are balanced. But when you have a battery like that, because you're obviously building these things for reliability and to last a long time, I just don't understand why these battery companies haven't come out. And maybe it's because planned obsolescence. They do that planned obsolescence where, like, hey, we only want that battery to last 4 years, but the battery you built is going to last 100. We don't want that. So I got some nice sway bars. We can put some suspension in there. They're going to use some General Grabber tires. Okay. I've used a lot of General tires back in the past. It's an interesting camper door. When that breaks, you're not going to be able to find a replacement. Looks like it's got a heater or a water heater. It's got a cassette toilet. Very familiar with these. These are kind of cool because you have your toilet, it fills into a gray tank, and you don't need to go to a dump station to dump it. You can take this cassette out, run over to the bathroom, and it pours right down the toilet. Yeah, it probably smells or whatever, but it pours right down the toilet, and you hit flush, and it's gone. Liking the seats. Oh, that's nice. That whole back section right here. You see this? It looks like a pass-through, like a complete pass-through into the camper section. That's nice. I like that. I like that you could, go from the camper to the driver's seat. Probably not the easiest because it's a Tacoma. And, if you're a big guy like me, that's just not going to happen. So up here we got there is a pass-through. See the pass-through right here? Table, bed. I'm digging the skylight, though. I am digging the skylight. Plus, that gives you that extra room to stand up and put your underwear on. It's got the TV. Got a little kitchen area over here. Look at that kitchen. It's got a little sink, a little fridge. And I'm guessing that's going to be the loo. It is the loo. That looks like a little toilet. We got some storage under the seats. I don't like the fridge. I don't like the fridge. Because guys who have these trucks, they're going to be four-wheeling. Everything in that, every time you open that fridge after you get done four-wheeling or getting to where you wanted to get with your little camper on the back of your truck, that stuff is going to be scattered all over that fridge. You're going to have, man, I like those cooler style fridges where you can have like a dual zone where you can make it a dual freezer or a dual fridge. Yeah. Yeah. Everything in that fridge this is like one of those dorm fridges you get in a college campus where you can't even put ice cream up there. Probably won't even make ice cubes, you know? But, oh yeah. That's cool. I knew a guy, and CB handle used to be Redbeard. Had a toy, I believe it was a Toyota truck that had something like on this. I think it was from the 70s or 80s. And it was just the coolest thing ever. How it brings back memories, right? Car and driver. So, now I got to find something else. Woohoo! Because when you guys want to, what are we doing? Cell phones. You guys been looking at cell phones lately? Are the prices going up? Have you noticed that the price of cars are going up at dealerships? It's all because of the tariffs. And I understand what they're trying to do with the tariffs. They're trying to bring back more manufacturing to this country. They're trying to get on even footholds with all these countries that we have trade deals with. I understand why he's doing it. I just don't think people understand how it affects. Like, the tariff is not a tariff. When you put a tariff on another country, it's not affecting that country. The person that's in that country that made that product for a consumer here in America. So say, for instance, you went to China and you ordered 100 Whizzits, right? I don't know. I'm getting... Yeah, Truck Sam is not making it because the internet does not like him today. When you get tariffed on that item, like say I'm the manufacturer, just Pure Talk manufactured, 100 cups at, $1 a piece or whatever. Well, that tariff doesn't affect the manufacturer. It affects the guy that's importing those cups. So when we got 145% tariff on China, that means when I order that thing and it finally shows up, it's going to cost me 145% more. So these car companies now that are here in America and all over the world are trying to scramble to figure out their supply lines, to figure out how much their car parts are going to increase the overall cost of their car. And the only one that I see that's going to really ride this storm out, if it keeps up for a long time, is Ford. Because Ford Motor Company is the only vehicle made in America that I can find that over 80% of its supply line originates here in America. So the parts are all made here in America. So they're not going to, the 20% of parts that they get from other countries 25 to 145% tariff is really not going to add much more to a Ford car. Now, if Ford doesn't get greedy, which I already think they have gotten greedy over the years, but if they just produce a basic truck with basic things, they should still be able to offer it people at a reasonable price. But every time I go to look at trucks, and I'm like, ooh, that's a nice truck, I would like to buy that. What do you mean it's $80,000 to $140,000 for four wheels and a steering wheel? I want vinyl. I do like leather seats, though. I would pay extra for the leather seats. I just want a truck. If I want a fancy stereo system, I'll put one in myself. I want cars that were made like they were back in 1960. I want, where the passenger seat was an option to purchase. The flooring was an option to purchase. You could custom build your car, and I understand that that's a pain for the manufacturer, right? But man, I don't know. I see, what was it? There was a news article that I saw come across my feed that Zelensky did sign a minerals deal with the United States. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I would really like to see that come to an end so people can get back to a peaceful life. But I just don't think that these countries, I don't think the Ukraine and Russia, and I think mostly Russia, is not going to let that go because they want Crimea bad. But they also want a land bridge that connects them to Crimea. And they're not going to give it up because it's the only port they have in that area. And that's one thing that Russia is limited on, which is seaports. And the more they can get, the better. So I just hope it comes to an end. What else is going on? A lot of people got deported. There was actually a large bust here in Colorado at a nightclub. They went in and hit it like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and they detained over 200 people. Just under 100 were getting deported by ICE. Then there was a couple people that were in the military. They got detained for something. We're still waiting to find out what about. They found a bunch of drugs, coke, meth, fentanyl. They found a bunch of prostitutes. And I guess they've been investigating these guys for a long time before they finally decided to strike. But over half the people in the club got arrested. And that's just crazy to me. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Kamala Harris is sharply criticizing Trump's policies. I remember when I was a kid, even when I was a young man, there was kind of an unspoken rule. And I think these presidents need to go back to it. That once you're out of office, shut your pie hole and disappear into the background. You don't need to say anything unless you're coming out to sponsor a candidate, or you're coming out to run for a different office, or whatever you're doing. But to talk about the other president and what's going on, yeah, I don't get it. It's not going on. not going on. It's kind of hard doing this by yourself when you don't have a bunch of stuff already thing up. I had a bunch of stuff. I had pages upon pages of news articles. And then I had to restart my system. Sucky. So, how's the sound? Just one person, it's probably just right. So, P. Diddy's still in prison. Kind of wonder when they're going to get around to that, or is he just going to rot there and we're never going to hear anything again, and they're just going to quietly just make him disappear. I don't know if they've selected another pope yet. I haven't heard anything if they've selected another pope yet. So, let's go here. They're wondering if the Hezbollah are going to disarm in Lebanon. Guess we'll see where that goes. There's just a whole lot of people around the world that cannot get along. Yeah, here it is. I found it. Once my internet works with me, so mine's being a little slow today. So I don't know where these guys are meeting, where this picture was taken, but just seems like two guys talking it out, hashing it out, and I don't know. It's probably a place I can't get into. So they signed the valuable rare earth minerals deal, which I think is going to be interesting. I know Zelensky was wanting guarantees of protection or something like that. But I think what he doesn't understand is if a U.S. company is working over in the Ukraine and Russia tries to blow it up, I think they're going to open a can of worms they shouldn't be opening. I don't know. You let me know. Let me know what you think. Because this war is grinding, and both sides are running out of. I mean, there's going to be a hole in both these countries where fathers aren't going to know. These kids that are growing up aren't going to know their fathers because their fathers died over here, and there's going to be a whole hole in both these countries because they just can't get along. And then Israel-Hamas war, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we will see. We will see what goes on. Man, sports. Don't talk about sports. What? So a fan fell from the 21-foot Clementon Wall at PNC Park in Pittsburgh during a Cubs-Pirates game. This is like 12 minutes ago. What were you doing? Up and you fell off the wall. And that is going to be an interesting story to tell. Hey, all, did you see me on TV yesterday? Fell off the wall at the game. Yeah. That'll mess you up. 21 feet. If you fall 6 feet off of a ladder, 6-foot ladder, and you weigh 180 pounds, your impact force with the ground is like 2,500 pounds. Something stupid, ridiculous. Like breaking bones, there's all kinds of stuff you do. But the human body is amazing on the amount of abuse it can take. Oh, thank you for the little thing there about the photo there, Ragnar. I appreciate that. But falling off the wall, there's going to have to be a better explanation on that one. What? Is there any science news going on? Oh? Ancient DNA confirms that New Mexico tribe linked to the famed Chaco Canyon site. So now they can say that, yes, you were here at one time in your life, but no longer, because it's probably a federal park and you're not allowed to be there. Yep. I don't know. Do not know. What else should we talk about tonight? Four-wheel drives, cars, campers. You want to look at another cool four-wheel drive? I'm going to find you another one. I've had the pleasure of actually seeing this camper I'm about to show you. This thing is bad. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. The AT Altera XLF. Yes, that is a 1-ton four-wheel drive Dodge Ram. And this thing is a beast of a camper. But the flatbed system they put it on, it's got a queen-size bed in that sucker. Queen-size bed. This thing is solid as a rock. I've had the pleasure of touring a couple of these. A guy I went overlanding with up in Plain, Washington last year. He had one of these. There was another couple that came in that had one of these. These, however, are not cheap. The base price for the camper shell, the camper, is $81,000, and that does not include the truck. Does not include the truck. And you're going to have to get suspension work done on the truck to support all that weight. And then, of course, bumpers and winches and all that stuff. So, but it is just, a king size bed. I thought it was queen size. King size bed. Wonder if do they have a gallery section? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Gallery. Because what you got to see is the inside. We'll go to the inside here. Look at this. Solar charger. It's got solar built in. Nice bed. Nice, tape dinette area. Look at all the storage it's got right here. It's got a little sink there. It's got all your hoses and storages right there. Another storage section. Oh, yeah, I forgot the sink has a double burner on it. I forgot about this. No. Oh, yep. I'll have to look that one up here in a sec, too. That's the bed. That's the fridge freezer right down there. This gentleman's name is actually Mario. He's makes some wonderful products. And dude, this camper, I want one. Like when I trade in my overland rig, this is what I want. I want to go up to the big leagues, baby. But it's just a lot of comments. That's 3 full-size dudes sitting in there. No problem. Look at that. And that's a 16,000-pound winch on the front of that truck. And then you got that pulls out in the back. Beautiful place for storage. More storage and recovery gear you can put in the side right there. It's got on-demand water heater. It's got heat. I don't know if it's got cooling, but I'm sure it's got fan. It's got a big fan on it. It's got one of those big fans. You know. And then let's see what they got for toppers. You got the Atlas topper, the Habitat. This is what I put on my truck. Absolutely love this thing. This thing's great. Takes about 5 minutes to set up, and it takes just about the same amount of time to put it away once you take all your bedding and stuff out. That's the only thing I wish I would, but you can't, because like the mattress is on this side. So, but see if it's got a gallery here where you can see inside the tent. That kind of looks like my truck right there, but it's not. Something similar to that tan one right there. Look at all that room you got right there. Just so much room. But, yeah, craziness, right? You got to like a good camping truck. There's nobody to argue with today. Nobody to argue with. Nobody to banter back and forth with. You know, just me babbling. And just do not know. What else should we talk about? I'm wrong. What am I wrong about? Gotta wait for him to chime in. What am I wrong about? Nobody to argue with today. Just what the? We need to find something to do in here. I need to find. Oh, I did go to the mountains today. Spent some time up in the woods on my property. Absolutely lovely. Had to go up and make sure the trails were all clear of snow, so that way I can start doing some dirt work up there. So I can make a pad for my truck to sit on, so I can camp up there on my property, which will be absolutely lovely. And then still got to figure out water, though. I'm sending a couple emails to the source panel guys, but I've never gotten any responses from them. And I think they're still just doing the southern United States. So we will see. We will see, because I need to get water up there. And a well at that altitude is way too expensive to drill. I'd be better off putting in a cistern and paying a water truck to drive up there and fill it. But there aren't many water trucks that are getting up there to fill it. That would be a four-wheel drive with a tank in the back, yeah, because it's the only thing that's going up that road. Well, we need to really don't know what to do here, so I think I'm gonna call it tonight. It's been lovely talking to you all. I would like to thank you all for watching tonight. Vermland Radio. I haven't, I'm still trying to figure out how to get these banners fixed, but what I need to do is have one that's over here that's just for pure talk, so that way I can click it and bring it up. But you can go out to our website at vermlandradio.com. There's a swag shop out there. You can go out there and purchase stuff out there. We do appreciate it. Nothing comes to us. It all goes back to support the station, which doing this is actually kind of expensive because you got to pay for U.S. government upgrading secretive FEMA bunker. Why? That's classified. Or why is that classified? Why does FEMA have a bunker? Is it just for the upper FEMA? Oh, somebody piqued my. The federal government is upgrading secretive FEMA bunker. An underground facility 60 miles west of Washington, D.C. is getting upgrades, but specifics remain secret. Well, the fact that you found out it's getting upgrades concerns me about its secrecy. The secretive underground FEMA base where congressional leaders hid in the following attacks at 9/11 is getting an upgrade. But what exactly the workers are doing at Mount Weather? Well, that's classified. Well, duh. Buried in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Well, it's not very secretive because you're telling us where it is, and we got a satellite picture of the darn thing. How secretive is this? That's awesome that it takes less than 30 minutes to get there from the Capitol, but you know what? Now they know where the next place to bomb is. Because I just did a web search for FEMA secret bunker, and it popped up all this stuff about Mount Weather. That secret's blown now. So they're going to evacuate all the leadership to here, and the enemy team is going to go, hey, we're going to nuke DC. We're going to wait a half hour, and then we're nuking Mount Weather. You know? It just... Exactly. It's like Victoria's Secret. It's not a secret anymore. Exactly. Victoria has no secrets. This blows my mind. I'm almost at a five-star resort for the congressmen and senators, when they should be, living in like a military barracks on bunks. Just drives me nuts. Well, thanks for the time, guys. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna get out of here. Love you guys. Thanks for supporting us. Please like and subscribe. And next week we'll try to get everybody on, barring technical issues and I forgots and stuff like that. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.